Good afternoon. Welcome to Resist TV. I'm Dean Hunter. Today we're joined by Mr. Frank Anderson, the Executive Director of the Fairfax Democratic Party organization. Frank, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We're very excited to have you here. A lot's going on in Virginia politics. As people know, Virginia is one of 2 states in the entire nation where there are elections this year. So it's really a battleground for the national parties. What kind of things do you have going on with the Fairfax Democratic Organization?
Thanks, Dean. So we're one of many organizations at the Democratic Party level. We're not the Democratic National Committee. We're not the state party. Every locality has its own Democratic committee. But Fairfax here is unique because we're the largest party organization in Virginia. And when it comes to local Democratic committees, we're one of the only ones with a full-time office, paid staff, a large internship program. So it's great that we have what we have because we have all these resources to offer people. Now in Virginia, as you've mentioned, we have elections this year: governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and all 100 of our House of Delegates races and then legislature are on the ballot this year. 17 of those districts are in Fairfax County, and most of them are already Democratic held, but there's several districts, 3 of them, that we wish to flip.
From what I understand, yes, Fairfax Fairfax is relatively a Democratic stronghold, but the state has often been called purple because it has a tendency to potentially go either way. Can you tell us about the efforts of the party statewide to recapture the state legislature? What is the makeup now? How many candidates are you guys fielding, and what do your prospects look like?
Well, the Republicans hold almost a 2/3 majority in the House of Delegates. We have right now at least 61 candidates running. It's going to be much more than that in the next coming few weeks. Even if there's no primary, we can still put a candidate in. So I think that some of those districts are really targeted. The state party is going to be looking at how can we support those most likely districts to flip. And a lot of them are Northern Virginia.
Yeah, I understand there were some, what's the number, some 30 or 35 state legislative districts that were held by Republicans that Clinton carried.
There were 17 of those.
Oh, 17. So you're targeting all 17 of those, of course.
Yes, we are.
Are you fielding a candidate on every held legislative seat this year?
Well, almost every. I mean, like I said, the ones that are most likely to flip, we definitely have candidates for those. In some cases, multiple Democrats vying for the nomination. For example, out in Prince William County, we have 3 Democrats running to unseat Bob Marshall, who's notorious for his anti-gay legislation. And also here in Fairfax County, the 42nd District, Dave Albo is the current delegate, and we have 2 candidates running for the nomination there. And just today we learned Dave Albo is not going to be running for re-election, so that seat is going to be open and a much more likely pickup for us.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, there is a primary. I guess we do got to get through the primary first before we get to the general. When is the primary in Virginia?
June 13th.
June 13th. And there are some very hotly contested races at the top of the ticket. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Tell us about the governor's race.
Very interesting. Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam has been running for governor for a long time now. So he gathered the support of most of the party regulars. Plus he's been well known in the party statewide. But just this January, Tom Perriello, former congressman, he jumped in the race for governor and sort of turned things upside down. So I think it's good that we have a contest. Last time around it was just Terry McAuliffe. I think it's always better when we have a primary, as long as things don't get too divisive and we all come together after June 13th.
How is that contest shaping up as it relates to the Saunders supporters versus the Clinton supporters or the Obama supporters? Do you find that kind of divide there, or are they enjoying support on both sides of the spectrum?
It's not quite the same. Some are characterizing it that way, but I wouldn't say so, because on the Perriello side, you have folks from all sides supporting him, and on Northam side, you have folks who were supporters of both candidates behind him. I just yesterday talked to a Bernie Sanders supporter. She's not a fan of Perriello. She's been with Northam for a while. That being said, Ralph Northam is like it or not, the establishment candidate, and Perriello is kind of like the usurper, as it would look like.
What about on policy or positions? Are any major difference between the two of them that you can?
Not a whole lot. I mean, the one place where some people are pointing to differences is on the pipeline, the Atlantic Coast pipeline. Otherwise, I think it's a matter of style, campaign style, and the policies are just about the same.
Let's move down the ticket to the race for lieutenant governor. Talk to us about that.
Well, we have 3 candidates now. So Justin Fairfax has been running for a while. He was on the ticket in the primary 4 years ago for Attorney General. And then we have Jean Rossi, who, just like Justin Fairfax, is a former prosecutor. And Susan Platt is the most recent candidate to jump in the race. And she is a former consultant and worked to help get women elected to office.
And what's the dynamics of that race? How's it shaping up? Who's in front?
Well, it's interesting. There was a recent poll that had Susan Platt ahead, which is interesting because she was the most recent candidate to jump in. I think that at this point it's wide open, because the candidates are not well known to the voters of Virginia. People are just not paying a lot of attention quite yet, especially to the lieutenant governor's race. Interesting.
Now, I know that Virginia voters are paying attention, at least to national politics. Some of the most raucous town hall meetings have been held in Northern Virginia, or in Virginia, period. I understand there's been a big increase in grassroots support and grassroots activism in the state. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. It's incredible. Ever since last year, the election, we've been getting people calling, emailing, coming by saying, what can I do? And so we've been trying to provide all the opportunities for people and letting them know who else is out there too, because we're just one of many organizations out there. There's grassroots groups such as Indivisible, Pantsuit Nation, Network Nova, Together We Will. Let's see, there's the Bernie Sanders organization that's now called Our Revolution. There's so many out there that we can put people in touch with, and we're all working towards the same goals pretty much. We resist Donald Trump, elect Democrats. And so I'm trying to network everybody together because there's more than 150 groups now, both longtime groups and new groups that are working for pretty much the same causes.
It's interesting. Bernie Sanders supporters have their organizations, Our Revolution. Hillary Clinton supporters don't. Are you finding they're more of the indivisible group, or are they more involved with the party as a whole?
A lot of them are in the indivisible groups, but some of the groups that came from the Hillary Clinton campaign include Together We Will, Pantsuit Nation.
Pantsuit, okay, yeah.
Several others that have come around, and the Women's March groups, of course, there's several of those now. That a lot of them are people who were with the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Now, I understand the party has an event coming up this month. That's a pretty big deal. It's a summit.
Yeah, it's called the Nova Summit. We and other local Democratic committees have decided to come together for a training event. So this is a big training thing where you can learn about campaign organizing, whether you are with a campaign or just organizing and getting out the vote and working with organizations like us in Northern Virginia. So it's how do you work on voter databases, best ways to talk to voters, and much more.
Is this only for candidates, or can the average voter or activist who wants to get involved should also come to this also?
It's mainly for just about anybody who's interested in working to elect Democrats. So if you're a person from an organization, from a campaign, or just an activist who wants to get something done this year, we're going to open up all the opportunities to you. And that's going to be April 23rd at Fairfax High School, right near to here.
April 23rd, Fairfax High School. Where can people get more information about the summit or the party itself?
FairfaxDemocrats.org. On there you'll find information about the summit. And also there's another post called How You Can Help. And that has a listing of a lot of organizations that are doing good work in the area, whether they be partisan or nonpartisan. We know that people want to do something, and I just want to provide to everybody the opportunities to get something done.
What is the greatest need you have right now at the party level?
I would say we need more organizers, because we have a lot of what you could call foot soldiers, people who want to do the work, but not enough volunteer leaders to just say, hey, I'm here to organize you to get the job done. Here's the resources that you need, and let's go do it.
All right. So if you're involved with one of the other organizations that are out here, the grassroots organizations that are working in politics, there's you're saying there's definitely an opening for you in a leadership role with the Fairfax County Democratic Party also.
Sure, come to us. We'll give you everything you need to get it done.
You told me you had internships available. Are you recruiting at schools in the district also, or just the Northern Virginia area?
Oh, people from DC are coming, so American University, Catholic University. I've got over 50 applicants right now.
Great. I mean, I think, again, with this being the battleground, I would think that you're going to find people from all over the region who want to be involved. What kind of effort is the national party putting into the state, or have they even started that yet?
Well, we're still waiting for that to happen. They just elected a new chair, so it's yet to be seen what they're going to be doing at the state level. However, there's a group called the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee. They're in charge of electing state legislators, so they're going to be focusing on Virginia. And the National Party, I know that they have a big interest in what's going on here.
We're almost done, but just give how would you rate the Virginia congressional delegation, your senators and congressmen, Democrats that is, as it relates to their resistance to the Trump administration and its policies? How are things going there?
Well, you know, our congressmen have been really good fighters. Our senators as well, Senator Warner, Senator Kaine. You know, they've been doing a great job to push back and being very vocal against Donald Trump, his administration, his appointees. My congressman, Jerry Connolly, he's a great fighter. He's always speaking out. Don Beyer, Don McEachin, and Bobby Scott. They're fantastic. So.
Yeah, Don McEachin went to American University. He actually founded the chapter of my fraternity there. He's a great guy.
Oh,
really
great.
Glad to see him as an addition to the delegation here.
Yeah.
Senator Warner is on the Intelligence Committee, right? He's really one of the leading Democrats in the effort to find out the truth about the collusion with the Russian government and the Trump campaign. How do you think he's doing so far?
He's taken the job very seriously, so I'm very happy about that. He said it's one of the most important things he's ever worked on in the Senate.
Let me say this, Frank, we really want to thank you for coming here today. We're going to have you back because, like you said, this is just the beginning of these campaigns as well as the other things that are going on nationally. So thank you for coming out to Resist TV.
Thank you, Dean.
We'll definitely have you back on.
Appreciate it.
That's D. Hunter, and that's this episode of Resist TV.